wildlife biologist Eric Orff with my New Hampshire Fish and Wildlife YouTube channel, and I'm going to call this week's Nature Notes. I haven't done a Nature Notes in a while. First week of May here in central New Hampshire. The air is full of bird songs. Cardinals, tufted titmouse, a phoebe, blue jays, and this week is such a phenomenal week in New Hampshire. The first week to 10 days of May is a huge transition for us here in central New Hampshire. The rest of the birds come back, the warblers, the little tiny birds that I can't always hear anymore because my hearing's not what it was, but the warblers are completing comeback this week. So, the trees are just filled with birds. So these are insect-eating birds. They're in the shrubs, they're in the bushes, they're in the trees. Thousands and thousands and thousands of birds have arrived right now this week in central New Hampshire and northern New Hampshire. This is just a wonderful time to be outside. What else is happening? Usually by the 7th to the 10th of May, so the first 10 to maybe 14 days of May in central New Hampshire, it is leaf out time. It is when the leaves almost always come out every year in this part of New Hampshire, central New Hampshire. And to me, it's more glorious than the fall. Yes, it's green, but here's what you do. If you're out for a ride, look at the hillsides. Don't look at individual trees. Yeah, they're pretty. It's the hillsides that are draped in every color and shade of green that you could imagine. Just pastel green everywhere, bright green and dark green and green and yellow green. Yes, the hills this week and in the next 2 weeks will be painted by a magical brush in all these wonderful shades of green. Glorious, glorious time to be outside. Turkey season started May 1st, 3 days ago now. Of course, it was pouring rain that morning, so we'll see how the opening day went for a lot of our turkey hunters. So, those that are non-hunters, you're going to see cars parked here and there where you didn't see them a week ago because the turkey hunters are out and about, normally before light in the morning, and they'll be getting done around 9 or 10 in the morning pretty much. They're wrapping up turkey hunting here in New Hampshire by midday, but you'll see trucks and cars parked where they haven't been first thing in the morning, particularly here all over New Hampshire. It's statewide turkey season. So yes, our turkey hunters are out, but you might hear one shot at a distance. It's not the deer season. The occasional sound of a booming shotgun, hardly noticeable to most people, I would think, but you will see people armed, getting out of the vehicles, or more likely getting back in the vehicles because they got out in the darkness in the night, before light in the morning, and now, it's 11:30. Most of them are out of the woods already, so by between 9 and 10 or 11, most of these turkey hunters are coming out of the woods with their guns. So you're going to see armed hunters in New Hampshire who have paid for conservation for 100 years here in the state. They have supported the restoration of all kinds of species across the state, from turkeys, from 0 to about 35 or 40,000 today, and moose and deer. They certainly, as a wildlife biologist at Fish and Game for over 3 decades, I worked on restoring terns on the Isles and Shoals, and it wasn't just hunted things that I worked on. I worked on non-game things when I had a chance and could spare some time. So yeah, the hunters paid my salary for 31 years. Thank you, turkey hunters. Thank you, hunters. I do appreciate all that you've done for us here in New Hampshire, restoring wildlife to numbers not seen since colonial times. Bears, 6,000 bears from 1,000 when I first started work with them in the late 70s. So we have an abundance of wildlife right now. And this week it's just blowing up everywhere by sound, by seeing them. Wildlife is everywhere here in New Hampshire right now. Get outside, hit the trails. You don't have to have a trail. If you're a hunter, a turkey hunter or deer hunter, you don't walk trails, you walk in the woods. So you don't have to go to some named trail, find a small patch of woods that you feel comfortable being in, and take a walk. You don't have to be following everybody else on the trails. You can do your own thing and have the solitude and the social distance that you are needing. So yeah, first week of May, New Hampshire Nature Notes. Don't forget to hit that like button. It's a glorious time to be alive here in New Hampshire. Woohoo, spring is here, the birds are back. Oh, in another few days my plum tree is going to be blooming. It just fills my house with the smell of the blossoming plums, which are a magical smell. We are into spring. This is it. Get outside, enjoy the weather, enjoy your time outside, enjoy your families. Get out there and soak it all in. It is absolutely wonderful. And the last thing I want to say to follow up on the last post is there is the rest of my fiddlehead patch right there, just the corner of my yard. I planted probably a dozen fiddlehead ferns there a couple, 3 decades ago, and it has filled that whole area in. There are dozens of fiddlehead plants there. I'll be picking quarts of fiddleheads right there in the next few days. It is fiddlehead season in New Hampshire. Woohoo! Thank you, fiddleheads. Thank you, nature. You have been wonderful.